The Rock.
Good evening. Pedal to the Metal Wednesday. The racing show gets underway. If I can get my tongue untangled from my eye tooth. Good evening. I'm Moose Loyd alongside Tim Herbst across the way. Good evening, Tim.
Hey, Moose. What's happening?
Man, just another beautiful day here in Paradise. Actually put together 2 days of sun and no rain, and it's the first time I think in about 8 or 9 days that we've had any sunshine without any rain, so I'm pretty happy about that.
It's a good thing our studio doesn't have a window to the west.
Yeah, well, it looks like it may be coming in, but we're not going to worry about that right now because we're going to talk all things racing here on Pedal to the Metal on Wednesday evening. Of course, right out of the chute, without any further ado, a man that he's got a lot of accolades. He's a voice of the Z-Max Dragway, works with the Charlotte Motor Speedway, does a lot of stuff on Fox Sports South with racing, as well as Performance Racing Networks at the track. You can check him out there. And you can catch him right here live on the air. Lenny Batycki joins us right now. Lenny, good evening, bud. How are you?
Man, excellent. It's finally stopped raining here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And, wow, I thought I was going to be part of a scuba team over the weekend. Everywhere it was raining. You couldn't find anything to watch go down the racetrack in this part.
I tell you, it started last week here or on Thursday evening and didn't stop until early, mid-late afternoon Monday, really, when you get down to it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it kind of washed away all the big shows. Of course, the Lucas Oil Late Model Series, they call that pretty early. They're actually Thursday night into Friday there at Pontoon Beach because it was going to literally be a beach. There's going to be a lake in the middle of the racetrack. They're going to race boats. That's about all they could get underway. I know everybody washed away this past weekend, but we did get to watch a little bit of the Nationwide Series, and of course the Cuppers were at Talladega, and even the NHRA they got ground out as well. So
yeah, I was at the NHRA event in Georgia, and I had big dreams of being able to go through Saturday, watch some Nitro, be a part of the Mellow Yellow fan experience, and then head over to Livonia and see the World of Outlaw late models. That was going to be a great Saturday for me, and all we did was call the race and went back to Charlotte, and that was it. Fighting the rain and the windshield wipers and everything else like that. It was just a terrible day, and I hate it for all the fans that had to miss great events that were planned everywhere. But this weekend should be really big. There's probably 6 or 7 tracks in the Carolinas, and even South Boston, Virginia has a big event. This region is just chock full of great events that were already on the docket. The weather's going to break and be a beautiful weekend, looks like so far. And that's just good news as we start to head into the second half of the month when things will be happening right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Indeed. Of course, you guys are getting ready in a couple of weeks for the big the non-points race. That's always a lot of fun, as well as the Coca-Cola 600. And that's going to be the grueling race. And, of course, you'll be doing, I'm sure, pit duties on either or both of those?
Yes, actually, I am working with former Miss Sprint Cup Monica Palumbo, so I guess I'll be fulfilling the eye candy duties on pit lane.
She will be fulfilling the eye candy duties.
Oh, yes.
You'll be the creepy guy following her around, Lenny. We know how that works.
The guy in the background, that's you.
Monica is great. She has really become a good broadcaster back here in the Southeast, and knows her racing, obviously, and is a fun gal. I can't wait to play on pit road with the teams and such with her. But one of the neat things this weekend is watching the kid David Reagan, who we see regularly in the garage area during summer shootout with any little kid that needs his help with a Bandolero or Legend. David races once or twice during the summer, but he's typically in and around, just being kind of the big brother to half of the garage area during these summer shootout events that we have here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And to see him win and to see the tweets and the texts from the young kids that felt like they crossed the finish line with him at Talladega, that was incredible.
Indeed. You talk about, with the small team and the way they finished, you couldn't ask for any better of a Cinderella story when it comes out of Talladega. It took a while to get in, and I kind of gave up the ghost. I thought they were going to call it, and it was going to be that, and I went on to other things, and then I double-checked back, and I'm like, oh, man, I missed a humdinger.
Yeah, you really did, and that just means that you need a bigger cooler because it sounded like you ran out of beer and had to go get some somewhere.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. How did you guess? It was a rather rainy day.
He finished the cooler off and fell asleep.
That actually is pretty much what happened. I can't lie to you there, but man, what does that say? I mean, what kind of juice does that give a team like that? I mean, I'm sure they have sponsor people that they've been working with, and I'm sure they have sponsorship deals that are going on throughout the year, and I bet those are pretty hot sponsorship deals now, because once you finish, outside of the prize money and the contingency money and all of that will help influx with the team as far as liquid capital, but that's got to open some doors, doesn't it?
Well, first off, it automatically gets them in the NASCAR Sprint All-Star race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the 18th. So that's great coverage, great opportunity there. They did sign, I can't remember what the sponsor was, forgive me. Whoever was on the car at Talladega is going to be on the car Saturday at Darlington.
Right.
And what that does for the behind the scenes, the month of May, June, and July, those 90 days are really your golden sponsorship hunting time, because that's when these companies are putting together their formula for what they're going to be looking at advertising-wise in the following year. And to come out and have such a tremendous victory at a well-known track, at a well-known race, and be able to be so professional when he got out of the car and so genuinely happy and honest and passionate about what he did, they can take that tape and they can email it to company after company after company who right now is trying to decide, okay, where can I be? And the ones that, maybe would like to be on a front top team but can't quite afford it could say, you know what, this guy has all the things that it takes, and if we invest in him, we can follow him up there. And I think it's great. They've built this team over the past couple of years. They've had to go through, the starting parts, and they've had to go through a number of the other things, but they really have put together a win here for the ages for their company.
And, of course, I got an opportunity to interview him back in the early stages here, Motor Racing Monday, when he was still with Roush, and you talk about a very magnanimous young man, very grounded. I mean, he is about as a genuine driver or genuine human being as you will meet.
Yeah, he really is. Like I said, it's very neat. Even, he's been a Cup driver for years now, and regularly during the summer on Tuesday night and even Monday when it's just practice, he's there just to be around the kids that race the Legends cars, which he came from. He hasn't forgotten his roots. He'll talk to anybody. He'll provide advice and just great fellowship. And to see him do well, I think everybody that has met him feels like, there's one of us that has finally, captured something. And I think it's only going to be good for the sport to have another bright young face and really a true Southerner back in the fold. We have Jimmy Johnson from California, Keselowski from Detroit, Michigan. Where are the good old boys? Well, we finally have one back.
There you go. And the storyline just kind of writes itself. Of course, Front Row Motorsports, a small team, and really a David versus Goliath scenario with winning that. And I hope good things to come, because David Gilliland, finishing 1-2 with that, a couple of decent guys, and of course, an upstart team.
Absolutely. So that'll add some intrigue. Darlington, be back to watching what Denny Hamlin's, physique is able to do. He runs that track better than anything. I remember his first appearance for Gibbs in a nationwide car. He finished in the top 10 in his first time ever in a nationwide car. They put him at Darlington, and he more than held up to that test. And, his career has been written, the story after that. So this is a track that, as hard as it is for anybody else, it's the one that, for whatever reason, Hamlin does just naturally have a feel for. It'll be interesting to see if he can make it the whole, 500 miles and such, or 400, I think it is now. But Darlington, the lady in black, will have an opportunity to put a stripe on Hamlin that he doesn't want. He needs to get through this one and be ready for the races coming up after that. And
with his type of injury, the main crux, the main problem from the medical standpoint is those fractures in the vertebrae. Now, he's got some disc issues, which I can attest to. There are actually, because I've had some fractured vertebrae, they are actually more, you don't really notice the fractured vertebrae once you get in there. It's the disc problem that is the most prevalent pain that he's going to feel. And it's one of those type of things that I think if they can get him comfortable, if they can get enough kind of an inclined position in that car, because those guys get in there and they kind of roll that seat back a little bit. You're not sitting like you're sitting in a chair like your normal, family car. If they can get enough incline in that seat and get the pressure off of his low back in that sciatic area, I think he should be okay, because once the race starts and that adrenaline starts pumping, the next day, though, he may go, he may set him back. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I always look at, driver injuries, especially somebody as talented and still young as Denny Hamlin is. Is this the year that you just say it was going to be and it can't be? I know the competitor in him wants to keep going, but we watch quarterbacks, we watch pitchers on pitch counts now, and my concern is he going back in it with the slimmest, the most narrow hope? And Tim can attest to this, are we going to be able to qualify at all, and then you blow a motor and you wreck a car? Better to, just go out there and say we'll get him next time than to grenade equipment. And when the equipment is a human being, I'll certainly be holding my breath that he gets through this safely without bumping the wall, and then worry about the finishes and things like that later. Let's just get to the checkered flag or whatever part of the race he, stops at safely. Another week or two to heal up, and then I think Hamlin will be back to who Denny Hamlin has been for these great seasons of past.
Well, I got a kick out of watching, and it was very interesting to watch the driver switch. Whenever they pulled him out through the roof hatch, a funny car, and slid in Brian Vickers into the driver's side window and did the swap. And they said the seat, the mirrors, and everything were actually for Vickers. And you think about it, Vickers went, I don't know how many more laps, 20, 30 laps, and was involved in one of the big ones. That could have happened to Hamlin while he was out there trying to get the car. They waited to the first yellow. It's one of those deals. Is he pretty fragile? They should at least let him start the race, run 2 laps, and come in, so he didn't even have a chance to be involved in a wreck. And Vickers got tied up not too long after he made the switch. It wasn't none of his doing, but he was there and was involved, and could have been Hamlin in there and taking that beating and taking a hit like that. I mean, it wasn't a bad hit, but it tore up the car.
Doesn't take much.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like you said. He's out there going to run at Darlington. Just where's it going to land him at? Will he take a bump there? Will he get hit? I mean, they do crash at Darlington. They don't crash Talladega style, but they do crash at Darlington.
Ask Steve Park. We lost Len Batycki there, of course, from ZMAX Dragway and Charlotte Motor Speedway. He is our go-to guy here when we get going here on Motor Racing Monday. We'll see if he can give us a call back. Hopefully there was maybe he just ran out of battery and he has to plug it in and charge it.
Yeah, you get yours. You told me to remind you a while ago to get your phone.
Yes, I've got mine here and it's on charge.
It's so easy to do that.
Yes, indeed. And of course, what we're talking about is Denny Hamlin. And ask Steve Park. Steve Park had a nasty, of course, it was a kind of a freak accident where he was on the warm-up, or they were coming into lineup, and he was in a spot, but he was scrubbing the tires, and the steering wheel came off the damn car, and he just shot out in front of another car, and they T-boned him. I mean, it was...
Well, that happened second. The first wreck he had was at Atlanta. And I was actually there that day.
Yeah, Atlanta,
watching qualifying, and he was doing, they were just doing... hot laps, basically,
Testing,
yeah, and he smacked the wall coming out of 4, and it was a good thing there was nobody on pit road, because he comes shooting across the track and smacked into the wall on the inside of the racetrack where the crews would have been, and there was people standing there. They all scattered because he hit hard, and it was a hard hit. I mean,
and that busted him up for. He was out the rest of the year. I think it broke his had some serious fractures in his leg, but at Darlington they were just coming up. Trying to tag in, and that's when he got the head injury. I think that's whenever that
was pretty well the end of his driving career. That's a shame because he was a good driver.
Indeed.
Well, he was picked one of those Earnhardt guys that Dale Senior picked to run a DEI car.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, so he had some talent. We're waiting for our call back with Len Batycki. Of course, he's with the ZMAX Dragway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and PRN's at the track. I'm actually, we'll take a break and see if we can get Lenny back on, because we had Lenny scheduled to gobble up some time here because we had to cut it short last week. And, of course, coming up later on in the program, we're going to check in with Don Hayner. But we do have some sad news in the world of racing to report, and an advertiser as well, Tim.
Yeah, this morning a good friend of the show here, and definitely a friend of all racers, and a racer himself and a businessman sponsor here at the back then was Motor Racing Monday, Greg McCrae, known as Goober, driver of the 00 Sportsman car, passed away, lost his battle with cancer. And we want to send our condolences out to the McCrae family. Goob was a great guy. I mean, he just had that personality. You run into him, everybody was a friend. He knew you no matter where you were at. I always had to ask you something. And I've talked to him, throughout the couple of years here, and especially when his cancer hit. He really fought hard. Yeah. They had him in a race car last year. They had him on the 2-seater at Highland there at the end of the season. He was getting rides. His longtime friend and partner in crime, Larry Lumpy Laurie, was taking him around in the 2-seater up there at Highland. So I know everybody in the Greenville Racing Association is pretty sad tonight, and I agree with him, and I'm the same way. It's hard to hear Greg go, but it's just one of those things that happened, and really with the cancer that he was battling, he's in a better place. Indeed,
and our thoughts and prayers are out to his family, and a true competitor, a pretty darn nice guy as well. As we will come back with more Pedal to the Metal Wednesday, and hopefully we will return with Lynn Batycki from the Charlotte Motor Speedway and Z-Max Dragway, as well. Don Hayner coming up from Belclair Speedway, and find out what's been going on with them. And I know, as is a lot of tracks around here, kind of crying the blues because of the rain.
Unbelievable.
Indeed, of course. Come out and join us, 97.5 The Rock, broadcasting live, Brett's Wildlife Lodge and Winery, the Docswana Sunset Bar. We'll be there. I will be there from 5 to 7 coming up this Friday. I said Saturday. Friday. This Friday night. And unveil that Four Seasons. It's a bar, and it's a sharp bar. It kind of has that safari motif, and you can...
You're looking for that Dana guy that had the...
Dana Brown Safari Coffee? No, I'm just looking for the guy that has the beer. That's going to come up Friday. Come out, listen, get some concert tickets and some cool stuff. We might have some really cool drag race stuff coming up with Mopar. So
yeah.
We'll tell you more about that in just a second. We are 97.5 The Rock. It is Pedal to the Metal, listening live here at the radio station on the World Wide Web, WDLJ.com.
At Kaskaskia College, we take a different approach to education. We make 2-year programs, career certificate opportunities, and associate degrees available to everyone. That's why we schedule classes at times and places convenient for the learner. We provide you with the opportunity to succeed. Registration for the summer semester is underway now. To find out more about how Kaskaskia College can help you, call 545-3040. That's 545-3040 to get started and succeed at KC.
Are you a local racer looking for the best in performance and racing parts? Look no further than Boyd's Racing in Marine, Illinois. Boyd's Racing is a rocket chassis late model dealer, and for you modified drivers, they have the impressive modified chassis. For all your racing and performance needs, it's Boyd's Racing in Marine. They carry the products local racers need, like sheet metal, safety equipment, racing seats, Sunoco racing fuel, and Methadol racing fuel. They also stock 5-inch modified coilover kits. And at Boyd's Racing in Marine, they are a Bilstein shock dealer. From new shocks to rebuilds, it's Bilstein shocks. Boyd's can even handle your vinyl lettering. From sponsors on your race car to the whole car hauler, even business and pit banners. There's no job too big or too small. Call Johanna at Boyd's Racing, 887-4706. Boyd's Racing, 511 West Division in